Every day, I spend about 10 hours at my desk, editing, planning, creating. So if my desk just isn't right for me, it slows down my productivity and my workflow. I tested 3 of the most popular standing desks out there to compare them all, see which one I like the best and which one has the best features, and then also see which is best value for money. So the 3 desks I have are a Vernal standing desk, a FlexiSpot E7 Pro, and an Uplift V2. So first of all, let's talk about the assembly process. So out of the box, the Vernal really did impress me. It comes with pre-drilled holes for the frame and accessories. Something I love about this controller is it has a matte finish and it's got this soft touch rubber grippy texture. So this is probably going to be way more durable than the shiny glossy plastic you have on a lot of other desks. Something I love about all the screws and the screwdriver included is it comes in order of like when you're going to need them. So you start at the top and you work your way down, and all the tools are included. All of the parts included, even the desktop, all have pre-drilled holes that are threaded, so there's no need to make any holes yourself, which is awesome. And wiring up all the electronics was super straightforward, literally just plug and play. Some models they make, such as the executive line, even boast a patented slide to assemble structure, claiming you can assemble a desk in as little as 6 minutes. I only have the standard desk, but it was still a smooth process, and I'd say it took me around 45 minutes. Included in the box, you get a lot of cable management ties, and you also get this cable management tray, which goes on the back. So this desk I'm putting together right now is the E7 Pro by FlexiSpot. So I have a desktop in like a reddy brown color and then the frame right here. So let's see how long it takes to put together and how difficult it is compared to the other 2. So I'm already kind of confused at step 1 because on the diagram this box is like all the way over here, but it seems to be screwed down. So do I unscrew it and then move it? Oh, I see. One thing that I already dislike about the FlexiSpot desk is you have to make your own holes for the cable management cage at the back. I'm literally breaking a sweat trying to make the holes. It's just so difficult. They could have just put like some holes at the back. It would have saved me so much hassle. In terms of the Uplift V2, there's a lot of customization options. There's over 200 desktop options and 400 plus accessories. So assembling it can be a little bit time consuming and confusing as it differs significantly depending on the options you went for. Unlike some desks with more pre-installed components, the Uplift V2 often requires you to manually attach structural parts like the beams connecting the desktop to the legs. And just like the FlexiSpot, you also need to drill some of the holes if you want to use some accessories. So while attaching the frame to the desktop, I noticed there's actually a piece missing. Not really missing, but like I don't need this piece, but it doesn't really make it that clear. So it says I need to screw in this side bracket, this one right here, part 3, but there is no part 3. So I just need to skip that step. So just while screwing in, I just realized it's actually kind of broken here. I don't know if it's meant to be like that, but that side is just like open at the end. It looks like it's broken somehow. It does feel like kind of cheap plastic. Something I really like is you don't actually have to drill holes or screw in the controller box. It will just go ahead and slide into the frame, which is nice. However, the cables are not quite long enough to reach the controller box. So then included in the box is an extension lead, which is then way too long. So then you have loads of cables bundled up. When I was installing the feet on the desk, I realized the leg doesn't actually slot in like a lot of the other desks. It actually just is held together by screws, so it's actually less secure slightly. In terms of the materials of the desk, the Vernal one features a dual motor system housed with a solid high-grade steel frame. The desktop I tested had a smooth laminate finish, which Vernal states is a non-toxic, made from recycled waste wood. They also do make it in solid wood and bamboo, so there's a few different options you can choose from. I found the laminate desktop held up really well when placing things on the desk. It didn't leave any marks, there's no fingerprints. I found leaning on the desk, it didn't leave any sweat marks from my arms. And the desktop features thoughtful rounded corners for safety so you don't like stab yourself. But the edge of the desk still is sharp. That would be nice to be rounded off, but it can dig into your wrists when typing, so I would recommend you pick up some sort of wrist pad. Something I love about the frame design is it uses these C-shaped legs, which balance stability and legroom. And in my testing, it definitely seemed like the most stable at max height. Vernal definitely does emphasize the durability of their motors and their design, and they've shown that the desks have passed a 30,000 lift cycle test, equating to over 16 years of usage, so it's definitely going to last the test of time. The desk can go from 25 inches high to 48.6 inches, which is like 63.5 centimeters up to 123.4. Vernal's desk comes with threaded pre-drilled holes, so you can pick up various accessories such as a keyboard tray, and it easily just screws into the bottom of the desk. I like how they do matching furniture, so you can actually match the desktop wood to all of your units in your room, so you can pick up various sizes of filing cabinets, which are really convenient, have a couple of drawers as well as a locking mechanism, so you can actually secure your valuables. They also make this larger unit with 2 open compartments at the top, 2 small drawers, and then a large drawer, so perfect for just storing a bunch of gear. The FlexiSpot E7 Pro is also equipped with dual motors, and it has a sturdy carbon steel frame, and this definitely contributes to its impressive 440-pound weight capacity. One thing about the desktop is that it's in this mahogany color, which I'm not a massive fan of because it has this kind of reddy tone, and to me it felt less premium and somewhat plasticky, especially when I put my hand on it when I put things down. I found that it did mark a lot easier than the other desktops. Under the desk you have semi C-shaped legs, so there's still quite a lot of under desk space. In terms of stability and maximum height, I found it to be fairly decent, but I'd get minor vibrations from just typing on my keyboard and just moving my wrist when I was like, doing things like using my trackpad, and then my monitor starts to shake as well. So over on the Uplift V2, I actually really do like the aesthetic. It looks really clean. Just the black frame with the white desktop, it's super minimalistic. But it honestly can be a little bit bland and a little bit cheap feeling. I found that the join, like the seam going around the edge of the desk, is a little bit sharp, and I found that when you do sort of lean on it with your arm, it can feel cheap and sharp and dig into your wrist. And it doesn't look like a defect, it just looks like the way they manufacture it. But Uplift offers over 200 choices of desktops, including laminates, bamboo, and various solid woods like birch. And there's also 20 options for size, ranging from 42 inches to 80 inches. The Vernal offers a quiet, stable experience with smooth transitions between sitting and standing, and it operates at a super low noise level of 50 decibels. The lifting speed is about 1.57 inches per second. On the front of the controller, you have arrows to move the desk up and down, as well as 3 different modes. And there's also obstacle detection, so if there's something in the way and the desk actually bumps into it when it goes too low or too high, it will automatically stop and then start going in the opposite direction. I found this can be a little bit overly sensitive at times, and sometimes there's just a lot of weight on the desk or I'm leaning on it, and then that causes it to actually switch direction. You can also pre-program a minimum and maximum height so it doesn't go over that. So if you have something in your space that it could potentially damage, then you can limit that height range. The desktop is super spacious and pretty deep on this desk, so it definitely can accommodate a lot of stuff on the top, such as like a games console, your laptop, dual monitors, various accessories and whatever on your desk, as well as a large desk mat. Its weight capacity is rated at a load of 264 pounds, but with a max load of 355. Because the desk isn't the widest but has a lot of depth to it, it definitely is more difficult to fit into spaces, especially in a condo in Toronto. I found that space is limited and it would be a little bit better to have something more narrow and long, purely because of the shapes of the room. In terms of the FlexiSpot E7 Pro, it goes from 25 inches to 50.6 inches high, which is 63.5 centimeters at its lowest and 128.5 centimeters at its highest. And while operating, it has a loudness of 61 decibels. The control panel allows for some preset heights to be programmed in, and there's a USB-C port on the side so you can charge up your devices. There's also a dedicated sitting and standing mode for your convenience, and I often just use the sitting and standing modes, but there's also some numbers you can allocate as well for different heights. In terms of weight capacity, this desk supports up to 440 pounds. The desktop is slightly narrower, but I find that it fits in my smaller space a little bit better, and there's still plenty of space on the desktop to put multiple monitors as well as peripherals. In terms of the Uplift V2, its weight capacity is 355 pounds. The only issue I see with this desk is that because there's so many customization options in different versions, the base model might not meet all your needs. And there's add-ons such as an advanced keypad, which upgrades it to the controllers seen on the other desks. The pre-installed controller that comes with this desk has no presets, so you just have to use the arrows to move it up and down each time. and there isn't even a display to tell you how high the desk is. In order to make this desk comparable to the other two, you do need to upgrade some things, and that will increase the price even further. So this desk actually prices in at $599, which is more than the other two. The Vernal Desk prices in at $459. Obviously, things will vary depending on the size and desktop material you get. And the FlexiSpot Desk prices in at $479. So the Uplift V2 is quite a bit more, and considering you're gonna have to spend even more money to then make it comparable by upgrading the controller and the cable management tray, that's like a big deal breaker. In terms of the desktop materials, I'd say the Vernal one is the highest, the FlexiSpot's the second, and then Uplift is the third, but obviously there is different options you can get, but this is at this price point. FlexiSpot and Uplift make the most options, but at the same time, I feel like because there's more customization and more materials, they actually put less effort into the quality and production of those. I had a little bit of a debate whether I should go for a white desktop or whether I should go for this wooden desktop on the Vernal. And I kind of feel like the Vernal one is more homely. It definitely feels more warm, which is my style on YouTube, whereas the white is definitely more minimalistic and clinical. And it's something I'm not sure I want for my videos. I want a little bit of like warmth and realism, which I feel like the brown desk definitely does give my channel. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section below. On the FlexiSpot desk, if you do install a cable management tray the correct way around, you won't be able to attach monitor arms. So if you want dual monitors, you'll actually have to put the cable management tray backwards, which is kind of weird. Whereas the Vernal Desk, they actually put space underneath between the back panel and the desktop, so you can actually go ahead and clip on a monitor arm. Apart from that, the cable management trays are good on both. You are lacking that on the Uplift desk. And something I don't even like is there's no cover on the Uplift desk for all of the cables and all the mess going on inside the frame. So the Vernal and FlexiSpot desks, they come with these magnetic covers which just snap on. It's super convenient for just getting access to the cables, but also making it look really neat and tidy. The Uplift solution is pretty much a joke. Like, it comes with almost these cardboard feeling pieces that you have to cut into shape and then install using plastic hooks with 3M tape, and I couldn't even be bothered to put it on because it just felt like it was gonna break instantly, and it looked really cheap and low quality. In terms of the smoothness when operating as well as the speed, the Uplift V2 is the fastest at 1.57 inches per second. Coming in second is the FlexiSpot at 1.5 inches per second, and the slowest one is actually the Vernal, which is 1.4 inches per second. So my final verdict about these desks. Which one do I like the best? Which one provides the best value for me for that price point? The Vernal Desk really did stand out to me. It's just overall the best balance of value, build quality, ease of assembly, and just useful features for my needs. And all of the features, the controller, the quality of the desktop, everything feels really well thought out. And something I really like is there's these hooks you put on either side of the Vernal Desk, and you can hang your headphones or your backpack just to keep it off the floor. That is a really nice touch that the others don't have. And considering the assembly process was easier and the cable management tray is a little bit better thought through, yeah, the Vernal one is the one I would definitely go for. If you do have a slightly heavier setup, you might want to pick up the FlexiSpot because that does offer a higher weight capacity. But honestly, for my needs, I just have a monitor as well as my laptop and a few small accessories on the desk, so I find that my setup's fairly lightweight. If you're the type of person with a certain aesthetic going on in your workspace and you want something to match what you currently have going on, then the Uplift V2 definitely has more customization options, but you will have to pay more for it. And honestly, considering you're paying more, I expected more built-in features. It was pretty surprising to me and kind of a letdown that the controller was actually worse than the other two with no presets, which for $599 is kind of a shame. And so I'd personally go with the Vernal. It just kind of nails all the basics and then a little bit more. And I also like the little hooks to hang your bag on the side of the desk. But yeah, it's a very premium desk. All of them are pretty solid. And personally, you're not going to make a mistake by going with either option. But do let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Which one of these desks would you go for? Which one do you own or potentially are upgrading to? Do let me know. But other than that, I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.